This is the Good Neighbor Podcast, the place where local businesses and neighbors come together. Here's your host, Jeff Gardner.
Welcome to the Good Neighbor Podcast. Today we have our good neighbor with us, Aaron Lutes with the Gildas Club, Simcoe, County, Muskoka. How are you doing today, Aaron?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much, Jeff.
Good, man. I'm glad to have you on the show. I know we had a few conversations before, and I'm quite interested in your organization, what you guys do, but I don't want to tell the story. I'll leave that for you. So we'll get right into it. Tell the audience a little bit about your business.
Well, we're answering the question of how do you live with cancer? I contend everyone knows someone who's gone through cancer. And here in Simcoe County, we have a great organization in the Cancer Center over at Royal Victoria Hospital. And access to care is so important when we're talking about someone who's going through cancer. But what's there for you with all the questions that are there for the rest of the family and after treatment is done? We are a perfect complement to that cancer care that people receive. We help people with the emotional weight. If you have anxiety or distress and cancer is the cause, I have a whole team of social workers that are here to be able to help you with that.
And it's if I'm getting this right, it's that aftercare. It's now a community afterwards that you're now have the opportunity to be a part of. Right? There's no end to this.
Well, I know that so many people that come through and part of the program is, who you are before the day you were told you have cancer. You're no longer that person. For me growing up, and you can see it on the wall behind me here, Terry Fox, very much for so long, the first question you ask when you're told that you have cancer, you know that someone that you know has cancer is, how long do you have? Truth is that over 65% of people will survive the first 5 years of their diagnosis. We've moved with research and access to care like the RVH Cancer Center and early diagnosis of people living with cancer. So the question is more frequently now, how do I live with cancer? Some people have family and friends that are able to help you with that. And I always contend when we were building the Cancer Center in Barrie that the most valuable resource was that you now had access to family and friends as opposed to leaving them for weeks on end to receive life-saving treatment. What happens if you don't have family or friends that are part of that supportive network? Our slogan here at Gildas Club is so that no one faces cancer alone. And we build a community for people to be able to help each other and receive support and give support when cancer enters that house. And cancer is not an invited guest. So we're usually dealing with the most stressful, the most difficult situations that people have to deal with, that families have to deal with.
Yeah, beautiful work. And as far as I'm aware, I don't want to jump the gun here, but I think I'm correct in saying there's no cost for this.
Correct. It is free of charge. So I have social workers that are here that do programs, and our programs cover a wide variety. We offer almost 100 programs every month for anyone impacted by cancer. And I do fundraising, and I look to be able to engage people from the corporate community, from the foundations, and from individuals who understand what this is like, having to go through this. And not going through it alone is so, so important. And it is free of charge. So anyone, you can self-identify, walk on in. You don't need a doctor's note. You talk to our program team. You share your relationship with cancer. We share what our program is. And if there's a good marriage of interest, congratulations, you're a member. If there's other resources in the community that might be better suited for you, we're going to steer you to those better resources so that you can receive the care and support that you need. And that's the great thing about our social workers is they care about the individual in that regard. We went through this process almost 260 times last year with people in this community that were new. We're supporting over 650 people in our community right now. And our community actually is almost across Ontario. I have active members in Ottawa, Waterloo, down through, many parts of Ontario, but most of our support is in Barrie, the surrounding townships, and the Simcoe County and Muskoka regions.
It's beautiful. I love it. I just love what you guys do. And real quick, before I ask you, start peppering you with more questions, those programs that you have over 100 of, like, I can't say. I'm just one person, so I don't know what is in the mind of somebody who's going through this. I also don't have cancer. It's been in my family, so I've had some experience with it. But normally, for me anyways, when I think of cancer, it's like looming. It's negative. It's dark. I don't think of fun things. And maybe without you sharing what you shared with me, maybe I don't know that there is fun things to do or enjoyable things to do. So some of those programs I was really impressed by. Give me 2 or 3 of them that maybe someone would not connect cancer with X.
Well, I know that when we talk about support groups, I think some people feel like you get up on a podium and you say, "Hi, my name is Aaron. I have cancer." Well, we have support groups, and support groups, not just for people with cancer, but for the caregivers and family members as well. We have over 100 children that are part of our program to help them with that emotional weight on how to deal with it. But we have programs such as creative expression classes, which are art programs, drumming. We have a yoga class that's going right now for people to do gentle movement, get back range of motion after certain cancer surgeries or treatments, or just for being able to make sure that you can release some of that stress that resides in all the muscles, and that you don't have those mindful moments. I have 2 volunteers in the kitchen right now cooking up soup for a soup social tomorrow. We'll have over 20 people coming on in just having soup. And if you didn't know that soup is something that can help people, it absolutely can. Again, for some people that don't have anyone, these are their connections. These are their moments to be able to just say, "I'm not alone. Things are going to be okay." And while we do have some programs like the card program happening later today where there's going to be laughing, it's okay to not be okay. And we are a safe space for people to be able to take aside those masks that we wear for everyone else and just take care of you. And when I say masks, it's like, for me, I'm a husband, I'm a father, I'm a coworker. I do a lot of things throughout the day that present for others, but what's there for me? And I know that when people are going through cancer, that is so important, and help us kind of replenish that reservoir, those resources that are needed to be able to go through this experience called cancer.
It's almost like you've given this talk before, Aaron. Jeez.
Well
said.
Everyone can easily get into what it is that someone is going through. We all know someone, and we all want to help. 45% of the people that use our program don't have cancer. Some people are like, "I have a loved one and I want to support them, but I don't know how." And it's like, there's a chance to talk with others and talk with our team and just be able to connect in to find those resources. And that for the people that are the caregivers, that it's okay for you to be able to share what it is that you're thinking and doing. We consistently see with our program, which is evidence-based, it's professionally led, is that you'll have 10 concerns in a household. The people with cancer have them rated some way, and they're rated differently for the people that are the caregivers. So, how do you sit there as a caregiver and go, how do I sit there and take care of me? Because I'm supposed to be taking care of someone else. My concerns, I need to put that on a shelf, right? That's not as important. And there's a degree of, yes, it is important. And it's just trying to find the balance that allows us to be able to handle this to the best of our abilities. And for the people that don't have those resources or don't have those families or don't have those resources, that's where we come into the play.
This is amazing work. I told you a little bit about the addiction clinic I volunteer at on the weekend, Cornerstone Recovery. And, tackling an individual's problem with substance abuse is a great start. But bringing in the families, because they're dealing with it too, they may not be using the substances, but they're dealing with the ripple effect of that. I love that you guys are doing that. So Aaron, specifically about you, tell our listeners a little bit about your journey specifically. Why did you get into this, as much as you're comfortable with sharing?
I feel like I take some of those pivotal points along my life and my career is that I've kind of accidentally fallen into fundraising. I always thought that I'd be more into corporate communications, into things that would have more professional careers. But, truth be told is that, there's, I think, a great ability as I sit here and I do my work of knowing that when I do extra work, that I'm not kind of fattening a corporate bottom line, or that, it's feeding necessarily into a bonus structure. but that it's helping people in my community. Working at RVH to help build the cancer center, working down at Mount Sinai Hospital, working on cancer research, is that I've had a number of stops along the way that really spell out that continuum of cancer in our community. And what I love about what I'm doing now at Gildas Club is that I find with every medical research advancement, new technology, new discovery, new cancer center, is that how do you live with cancer not only is becoming a more prevalent question, but a more important question. And of all of the systems we have in our healthcare in Ontario, is we're the experts in answering that question, how do I live with cancer? By and large, our healthcare system is designed around treating the disease. Really good hospitals, really good staff will treat you like a person in that process. But the system is strained. We see this with our nurses and our healthcare heroes, is that, they're tasked with doing more with less. And, there's just a greater gap. So how do you live with cancer is becoming a more and more important question. And we're answering that. So with every advancement, every new cancer center, we just grow with importance. And I just feel that there's only 2 Gildas clubs in Canada. Toronto started up over 25 years ago. We started up 13 years ago. Is that, there's a lot of places that would really need what it is that we provide. Virtual programming allows us to cast that over a larger area, and that's awesome. But we need support from our community to be able to continue doing the great work that we're doing.
Yeah. And how long you been with Gildas Club, Aaron?
I actually just passed my 4-year anniversary a couple of weeks ago here. So I came in on January 6th of 2020. I'm going to have great plans, and pandemic. So there's been, I can't say it's been boring, but I can certainly say that over those years that, we've maintained a great position to do what it is that we do. And as difficult as it is to be able to say that almost 260 people over the course of last year reached out saying that they need help, is that I'm glad that we're here to provide that help. We're serving and living our purpose in a very a full way.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay. So this I'm interested about, because I imagine there are some anyways. Can you tell us a bit about some of the myths or misconceptions you hear about your product, your service, what you guys are doing?
I know that some people will come through and they'll get a tour through the clubhouse and they go, well, where are the beds? Thinking that we're a hospice or that we provide medical care. We do not do anything that's medical. Wigs are considered a medical prosthesis. We don't actually deal with wigs. We deal with the psychosocial and emotional support. I think the way I say it is that if the emotional weight is too much to carry, we're here to be able to help carry that and help introduce you to a community of people that will help you carry that until you can get to that space where you feel like you can handle everything that winds up coming your way. But, we're here to be able to help people with that. So we don't do anything that's medical. People will come in, they'll say, my doctor said this, I'm not sure about it. And it's like, we can help you with how to be able to, share what it is that you're thinking and what it is that you're feeling, and encourage people to be their own advocates for their healthcare. But very much we work with the emotional and psychosocial lens of that. The second piece I would just put out there is, and I said it briefly in my answer there, is be your own healthcare advocate. As we go through, is sometimes we think, well, I'm not going to bother my doctor for this, or I'm up for screening, and it's like I'm feeling fine. I don't really need to be able to do these things and bother other people. Screening is so important in this process. Understand what it is that is part of your healthcare world, and be your advocate, because you don't want to hear the words, if we had only found this sooner. So for anyone that is in the realm of like, I'm feeling something and I'm not sure about this, is be your own advocate. I'm happy to provide you with an 1-800 number to the RVH cancer screening program. If you don't have a family doctor, screening is early detection. Early detection is treatment options. Treatment options are better outcomes. And we do realize better outcomes with these things, and that's what we want. We want to be able to say that we're winning this experience against cancer, and we're seeing better outcomes for families.
So get curious about your health, get curious about your mind, check in with the professionals, your doctors, reach out to these 1-800 numbers. For the person that's listening that maybe hasn't taken that first step, for them to know that there's many resources out there, possibly very close by, and to just get curious, take that first step so that you guys can be there with them. That's essentially the point.
And that's part of our place, is that if you're not sure, reach on out. Canadian Cancer Society has always been a great resource for Canadians and for Ontarians. But in the summer of 2020, because of the pandemic, they closed down almost all of their community offices across Canada. So you can go to the 1-800 number, you can go to the website, but I certainly find with a lot of people is you go to the internet, which is an incredible resource of information, but you go down those rabbit holes. What can you trust? What are things that you can do? We have brochures from Canadian Cancer Society here at our clubhouse. You know, our door is open between 9 and 4 throughout the week. If you have questions, stop in, find out. We will help steer you to some of those other resources or to what it is that we can do to help people with that anxiety or that distress that cancer is the cause of.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Okay. So a little bit about you, Aaron, as people love to get in touch or connect with the people. The business is important, so are the people. So outside of the impactful work you're doing at the Gildas Club, what do you do for fun when you're not working, Aaron?
I'm a father of 3, so I do whatever my kids tell me to do.
That's
I have
a full plate.
Well, and you always hear the saying, you can't remember life without your kids, and it's true. And do a lot of things that I can with my family. So I have a 20-year-old daughter. It's down at McMaster University, son who's turning 19 this weekend, and a 9-year-old son. So the younger one obviously takes a lot of the attention on making sure that he's supported in what it is that he needs. He loves tobogganing. The family farm out in Utopia, just west of Barrie. We go out and we do a lot of that now that we have some snow. But he also loves Nerf guns. So I have an exceptionally large head, which makes a great target, as I found out. So these may look like reading glasses, but they're protective eyewear.
Protection,
on most days. Absolutely. But, trying to get into doing more reading again. I used to do that a lot, but, the work that's been happening here at Gildas Club tends to be all encompassing, lots of things through the evenings and weekends. But very much look to be able to try to balance stuff out. Used to do a lot of hockey, haven't had as much time, but when you get north of 50, you don't move quite the same as you do against some of the younger kids anyway. So, sure. I'll take a look at maybe getting back into some of that, but going out, doing walks and activities with my kids tends to take up a good amount of time, and I do enjoy that.
Beautiful. Any pets?
We got a couple of cats. So, I would say that the cats have pets is typically what it works out to. But again, you sit there and I look at my kids interacting, especially my young one interacting with the cats. It's just, they help provide a little bit of balance to some of the interesting things that happen around the home. Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay. So a bit more on the personal side, as people are always interested. You were talking about those masks, right? It seems like, especially in these days, I found anyways, to a certain level, the more vulnerable we are, the more connection that is potential. So we all love that redemption story, or that moving through a challenge in life is certainly one that makes us stronger in hindsight. So can you describe for our listeners, if you're comfortable, any hardship, life challenge that you had to face, rose above, and because of that, are maybe stronger, wiser, more experienced, especially looking back in hindsight?
That's a great question. I went through high school, and I originally went into school for sports medicine. And I was 17 years old when I started college. A lot of the classmates I had were much older, had already gone through university, and were doing this as a postgraduate certificate. I found that I didn't have the maturity at that age to really pursue that as a career. I then looked at landscape design and landscape architecture. I loved gardening. I loved many aspects of that. And as I had mentioned earlier, I had put in public relations as a filler to my applications, and wound up finding that was a great opportunity. So, for several years, I've been doing sports medicine, I've been doing gardening and landscaping that, here I am in fundraising. It could be easy to look at those as failures with, what I was looking to do with my life at that time. But I've certainly found over my life as a fundraiser is that knowing what I know about the human body, what I know about gardening and landscaping have been invaluable tools in sharing with people complex medical procedures, complex situations within the medical environment. And that these have been great tools to help translate. So for someone that's talking about, I would do school tours that would come on in and would, very much what is chemotherapy or what is radiation therapy? How to explain this to young kids can be a challenging piece, but knowing about the human body and knowing about plants is that there was a great way to be able to help them with visualizing or understanding these concepts. So I would just say that in the midst of what it is that we're going through is that sometimes these things that aren't bringing success or are non-starters or could be failures, they're valuable tools in knowing what it is that you can utilize going forward. Life is about experiences, and life is about acquiring information. And when I talk to kids, is get involved. And as much as I want people to volunteer with Gilda's Club, is that there's 100,000 registered charities, not-for-profits, and community groups across Canada. There is something that matches one of your interests. Get involved. Be engaged with what it is that happens in your town, in your community, and in our world, because it's much more rewarding when you're able to sit there and look at things in that rearview mirror.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And also, getting involved gives that individual the opportunity to feel that gift that is the gift of giving to somebody else. It just feels really good, whether that volunteer or whatever it is that you're doing lines up with you perfectly or not. Once you've helped somebody truly, you will likely carry that on in whatever endeavor for the rest of your life. So I love that. A mentor of mine said, we are the sum of all of our experiences. As long as you're learning from them, there is no failure. It's just, that's where you're at in that stage of your life. Soak up those experiences. So I appreciate you sharing that with us.
I would look to make it just an underlying statement with that is that in a digital world where we have access to so much more information and we engage in digital ways, that doesn't necessarily mean actually doing things. It's like, make sure that you're getting out and interacting with people or with animals. Like if you're not a people person, you like cats. We talked about cats. My wife and my daughter used to volunteer at Furry Friends. And it used to be where my daughter would play with the cats. My wife would do all the cleaning of the cages. And they were like the number one adoption team for a while because they were just doing what it is that they enjoyed doing. And you're helping in so many ways. And it's like there's so many different organizations and groups out there that can use help. Gilda's Club is no different than any of them. And if people want to be able to make sure that they help others, I just consider myself a traffic guard in an intersection, pointing people who want to help people with cancer towards people that are impacted by cancer. Help me steer you to that destination if you're interested.
Yeah, it's like a lighthouse.
Yeah,
pointing people in the right direction. I love it, man. What's one thing you wish our listeners knew about your business? The hospice part was really important for me. Outside of that, I think that was a valuable piece.
I think we covered a few things, is that there's no charge to use our programs and services. That, people, if they have cancer or if they're impacted by cancer, the family and friends, even the colleagues and the coworkers, you have someone coming back after an extended leave and it's like, how do I treat Jeff? When he comes back into the office on Tuesday, is like, do I treat him like nothing's happened? Do I treat him like he needs lots of help and he's frail? Like, what do I do? Is like, we're here to help people with that. I think the one thing I would just look to underline at this point is that we don't receive any government funding. So here we are in January, is for me to be able to run all the programs that we're doing this year, which is north of $750,000, is I need the community to be able to help me to do that. And for me is to find meaningful gifts. And a meaningful gift is only defined by the donor and the person. $20 is a meaningful gift to some people. 3 hours of time is a meaningful gift. So I look to be able to connect with people with any meaningful gift that they can provide to us, because I can do great things with that. And, I just look to be able to share with people for that, is that we need this community's help to do what it is that we do. If we don't receive it, we have to ration it. We have to pull it back. And with a growing community, I have to tell you that the need has only increased. Prior to the pandemic, as this community saw in around 3,500 cancer cases a year, we're close to 4,500 cancer cases now. And because of a delay in screening over the pandemic because of COVID, is we're actually seeing people with more advanced cancer situations and scenarios. So the need has not slowed down. We've seen record inputs. Prior to the pandemic was, I think, 13 to 15 new members a month, and we were averaging almost 25 a month last year. We had our first new member meeting last week. We had 9 people in for that, and we had to tell 3 people come back next week because we just didn't have space for that new member orientation. And then on Friday, I know that we had a call that there's a family of 12 that are looking to come in and use our services. 2 of them registered before the day was done. So unfortunately, we're not seeing a smaller number of people looking for our services. We're seeing a bigger number, and I need support, because this is not funded by the government in any way.
So to a certain extent, your level of impact on our community requires our community to help out. It's just that simple.
Well, our brand is Gildas Club Simcoe Muskoka, an affiliate of the cancer support community. And cancer support community, I think, is an important part of that we look to be able to make sure that people feel that support when they need it. And I have over 650 active members in my organization that are looking for that support.
That's great. Aaron, last couple of questions. I mean, you've already alluded to this, but I really like it. I like this question, simple, straight to the point. If you could, in a sentence, 2 sentences, what kind of impact are you personally and in line with Gilda's Club trying to leave on this world? I've
said for a number of years as just a fundraiser, someone who works on raising money for important causes, is that the only currency that I have to spend in this world is my reputation. And like a lot of things, it takes a lot of time to build value for that reputation, and you can lose all that value in an instant. So I've been working hard for almost 25 years, and much of it in this community, almost all of it in healthcare, to be able to ensure that people are finding the support that they need. And I am only as successful as what my community allows me to be, but I enjoy doing that. The second thing is that there's 2 modes of living life as a not-for-profit or a fundraiser. Is you're busy trying to get noticed, and you're busy trying to keep up with those who've noticed you. And I feel that we're definitely in the second category, and it makes for some incredibly busy days and incredibly long to-do lists, which is why I'll take volunteers and I'll take help, and I'll take donations and support in any way we can. We're a smaller organization compared to the hospital or to the college. And we're pretty unique in Ontario and in Canada. I know the people that know us, they love us, and I would just look to be able to make sure I introduce more people to us. So to that end, I want to say thank you very much, Jeff, and to the Good Neighbor podcast listeners and watchers that are doing this today.
Yeah, it's just you're a giver. That's who we try to connect with. That's what we're trying to do, and important causes, they're a big deal. Okay. Before we wrap up with contact, is there anything new coming up? Anything that maybe wasn't the case in 2023? Something exciting about? It's par for the course.
There is a group based out of Bradford. Their website is A Bradford Christmas. There's 2 young girls, Sarah and Emily, teens, and they've gone out in 2019. It's like, we want to help our community. So they've been getting more and more experience and successful, and they've chosen for 2024 to help Gilda's Club. So you're talking about 2 young girls that have basically said, we're going to try to raise $100,000 this year for Gildas Club. And they're going to be doing a couple of different events and activities. An auction. I do believe that they're doing like a type of cookie exchange, a bowling event. They're going to be releasing some details later this spring. And when we talk about how impactful some of the stories are in our community, is knowing that there's 2 young girls that are doing that kind of effort for our community is take note. Sarah and Emily at a Bradford Christmas. Again, for people that just want to volunteer, that want to be able to help, that might have, some money, or where they're working might be able to sponsor that. There's lots of ways to do it. They're going to come up with a lot of ideas. Pay attention to them. They'll be releasing that. I want to say May the 4th. I would say that there's a little Star Wars geek in them, and I love it. So May the 4th be with you. And there's many ways for us to get involved. And while fundraising sits there and goes, oh, I'm getting asked to give money again, it can be fun. And this is why I say people get engaged. Find what it is that's right for you, and know that the work that you do has impact on others.
Beautiful. So that was abradfordchristmas.com. That's the website?
Yes.
Okay. And then for you, Aaron, how can listeners learn more, contact you, maybe your address, stop by? What's the best way to reach you guys?
We're located near the RVH Cancer Center. So we're on 10 Quarry Ridge Road. We're right next to the Tim Hortons. I grew up in an age where you could find any home with directions from the Tim Hortons or the local arena. So Tim Hortons is right next to us. People can come in. We're happy to provide a tour. If you want to think about volunteering, participating in some of our events, making a donation, our website is gildasclub.simcoe.muskoka.org. Again, 10 Quarry Ridge, Barrie, 705-726-5199. If you're with a church or you're with a community group, I like doing public speaking, and I'm working on some of our alumni doing public speaking as well. So, happy to accept invites to speak and share exactly what it is that we've done here today, Jeff.
It's beautiful. Aaron, I really think the work you guys are doing is spectacular. We were really excited to have you on the show. It was great getting to know you before the end of 2023. Keep doing what you're doing. It was a pleasure having you on the show today, Aaron. Thank you.
Jeff, thank you very much. And again, thank you to all of your listeners and followers today.
Thank you for listening to the Good Neighbor Podcast Midhurst. To nominate your favorite local businesses to be featured on the show, go to gnpmidhurst.com. That's gnpmidhurst.com, or call 705-413-3775.